Chapter 5, Unknown Body. The world slowly stitched itself back together. Or perhaps it only pretended to. Junling felt the weight of existence return to him. Yet something was terribly wrong. When he opened his eyes, he was no longer lying amid blood and ruin. He stood upright in an unknown space, vast, colorless, and silent. There was no sky, no ground, only an endless gray void that swallowed sound and light alike. His body felt solid, too solid. Junling looked down at himself. No wounds, no blood, no pain. Yet his heartbeat was absent. His chest did not rise, and his breath made no sound. A cold realization crawled up his spine. Someone stood before him. Zhao Fan. Gone was the blood-soaked god who had laughed madly in the face of death. Gone was the shattered body and the violent aura that once tore the heavens apart. Now he stood calm and composed, his robes unmoving, his expression eerily tranquil, like a corpse that had learned how to smile. Junling swallowed hard. His voice echoed unnaturally in the void. Is this the place after death? Dao Fan slowly shook his head. No, he said softly. This place was created by me. He paused, then added in a colder tone. But not entirely by me. Junling's brows furrowed. Unease twisted in his chest. This place felt wrong, like something that should never exist. Like a scar carved into reality itself. Dao Fan's gaze sharpened as he stared at Junling. You are only a soul now, he said flatly. Do you know why you are here? Do you know why it chose you? Junling froze. The words echoed endlessly. After a long silence, he asked in a trembling voice, What is this bloody bone? Am I dead? His throat tightened. Was I killed by that monster? Yes. Dao Fan's answer was calm. Too calm. You are dead. The word struck Junling harder than any blade. His thoughts shattered. Memories flashed, screams, claws, darkness, pain, and then nothing. His knees weakened, but his body did not fall. Souls, it seemed, could not collapse. Dao Fan continued mercilessly. But I believe you still have a chance. Junling slowly lifted his head, his eyes hollow and shaken. A chance? Dao Fan's gaze drifted into the void, as though staring at something ancient and unseen. The bloody bone, he said, is an existence beyond reason. I have spent countless years trying to refine it, dominate it, command it. A faint, bitter smile appeared on his lips. It ignored me every time. Junling's heart, if he still had one, pounded. It never acknowledged gods, never bowed to emperors, never chose anyone. Dao Fan turned back to Junling, his eyes sharp as blades, filled with something that resembled fear and envy. But now, he said quietly, it has chosen you. The void trembled. Somewhere beyond sight, something ancient stirred, as if a cursed will had finally found a vessel. And Junling, standing there as nothing more than a soul, felt an invisible gaze fall upon him. Cold, hungry, expectant. Suddenly, the entire space began to tremble. It was not a simple vibration. It felt as though reality itself was shuddering in fear. A thin beam of light tore through the darkness and expanded outward, forming a vast, floating screen. Upon it appeared a dense forest, cloaked in shadows and silence. Every tree standing like a silent witness. Junling's breath caught in his throat. This is the place where I died, he said softly, his voice trembling as if the memory itself was reaching out to strangle him. Dao Fan's gaze did not waver. Yes, on the screen, a bloody bone hovered above the forest floor. It pulsed like a living heart, releasing waves of crimson aura that stained the air. The aura twisted and gathered at a single point, growing thicker, heavier, until it looked as if blood itself was being pulled from another world. Time seemed distorted. Seconds stretched unnaturally as the aura slowly shaped itself. Minutes passed. Then, before their eyes, a human form began to emerge. A body was being created. It was unfamiliar. Cold. Wrong. Dao Fan's pupils shrank. So you look like this. Junling shook his head immediately, panic flashing across his face. No, that's not me. I've never seen him before. Not in this life, not even in my memories. For the first time, Dao Fan was shaken. It's not him? The thought echoed like thunder in his mind. His gaze darkened as suspicion crept in. Then why did the bloody bone choose him? Could it be that the bone belongs to this body, but resonates with Junling instead? He kept these thoughts buried, refusing to let Junling sense his unease. Silently, Dao Fan questioned himself. What is the connection between this boy and that existence? On the screen, the transformation reached its final stage. In the forest, the bloody bone began to melt, dissolving into streams of scarlet light. It seeped into the newly formed body, fusing with flesh and bone, becoming one with it completely. The moment the fusion was complete, the forest fell unnaturally silent. No wind, no sound, no life. And though the body had not yet opened its eyes, an invisible pressure spread outward, as if something ancient, dangerous, and utterly unpredictable had just been reborn. At that moment, the body was finally formed, yet it was empty, hollow, a shell without bones. The melted, bloody bone moved on its own, like a living thing guided by an unseen will. It flowed slowly into the flesh, spreading through it in thin, crimson streams. Where it passed, bones were born. A spine took shape piece by piece, ribs branching outward with sickening precision, limbs hardening from nothingness into structure. Every soundless movement felt deliberate, merciless, and irreversible. The entire process unfolded clearly before their eyes. Junling watched without much reaction. His soul felt distant, as though separated from fear itself. To him, it was strange, but not terrifying. For Dao Fan, however, it was a waking nightmare. This was a man who had faced slaughtered heavens and shattered realms without blinking. A man whose name alone once caused worlds to tremble. Yet now, he stood frozen, his will shackled. He was not even in control of his own thoughts. He knew better than anyone how terrifying this was. The bloody bone, an existence he had obtained countless years ago, had never truly belonged to him. No matter how powerful he became, he had never managed to break its seal. No matter how long he studied it, he could not comprehend even 1% of its true nature. And now, watching it create a body with such calm authority, Dao Fan finally understood something chilling. This thing had always been far beyond him. Chaos surged in his heart like a storm ready to devour reason. For a brief moment, fear, something he had long forgotten, scratched at his soul. But Dao Fan forcefully suppressed it. His expression remained cold, his gaze unblinking, as he continued to watch. Nothing was hidden. They saw how flesh was shaped. They saw how bones were forged. They saw life being assembled piece by piece. Yet one crucial thing remained unseen. The body's appearance. Bloody aura was too thick, too violent, swirling like a deathly fog that devoured light itself. No matter how they focused, the figure within remained nothing more than a shadow wrapped in blood. Time stretched unbearably. Then, slowly, agonizingly slowly, the bloody aura began to fade. As it thinned, something unknown waited beneath it, ready to reveal itself.